This is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. The game is enhanced. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. We have a few different graphical options for enjoying this expansive and just generally massive in scope second of, I guess, 3 chapters of, or well, 3 games, Final Fantasy VII Remake. An experience that started with the PlayStation, well, way back in the day, and then, of course, we got with the PS4 very late on after being announced so early. The first part, and then they did an expanded part, and then this just came out, and now we're seeing it as a PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced offering. So let's dive in and let's talk about the visual elements of this game in action. I'm just gonna walk around. It's cooler that way. So this is the graphics mode. So this is where they're pushing the visual fidelity of the game. So it's a dynamic 4K. It's something like 1800p, 30 FPS. This is if you want your game to look good, really clean, and actually just, again, the clarity. That's the biggest thing here, is actually having clarity in this game's visual modes, because the base PS5 was not cutting it. Then we have performance sharp and performance smooth. So we're going to show performance sharp. So the idea here is that you get a sharpened experience on performance mode. So this is 1440p, but it's more like 1200p-ish at 60 FPS. And there's HDR across the board, and this is kind of smooth, you know, performance mode. Not a bad way to play it. And then you can also choose the other version of performance mode. And again, similar sort of options between the two. This is supposed to be smoother in terms of presentation, and again, kind of pushing the same sort of thing. So these two, very similar. It's more like a little bit of personal choice between which of the two options you actually prefer when you're going about and playing this game. Now, the big draw, at least for me, is the new mode that's introduced here, and that is Versatility mode. So Versatility mode is kind of the combination of trying to give you a better visual picture using the PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced pisser technology. That's right, there's pisser everywhere. And you can actually see the gameplay now. Actually, across all the modes, you can actually have clarity, which is amazing. Because if you play this on the PlayStation 5, like I kind of did there with like the demo back when it launched, and it was so blurry you could barely tell what anything was. So here with pisser, this is your 4K kind of mode, but it's coming from, like, you could even see those deer. It's coming from like 1200p kind of internal, again using pisser at 60 FPS. So it's taking like 1200-ish p to 4K. That is the idea here. And again, HDR across the board. So this is the mode that should give you a pretty good visual image where you can actually tell, like you can actually see the character models and the clothing looking sharp, and you know, you can see the hair, and this is a very, very good visual option. Of course, you can go for graphics if you want to have a very bumped up resolution, which should, you know, look sharp and whatnot. But I think this is very likely going to be the mode and the way that you want to play and experience Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The particle effects look clean, the visuals look clean. Pisser technology is really kicking here, and again, more and more as I've seen it, it really is the real deal. And when it delivers, it absolutely delivers. This is so absolutely night and day compared to what I saw on the base PlayStation 5. Literally, I guess at like the beginning of the year, I suppose you would say. It's amazing how far we've come with just the bump of a mid-gen refresh. I know the technology and the, you know, hardware isn't for everyone, but I will say if you want your games to actually, like, have clarity to them so you can actually see the games, this is actually a really appreciated bump up gameplay-wise. Like, I can't even really... I don't know. Hopefully you can actually see the difference here and get an appreciation for it, but, like, it looks fantastic. It really does. This is, like, the best way to experience this on the console side of things in terms of just fidelity and appreciating what this game has to offer, because this is a massive, massive game. I kind of feel bad for those that sort of sat there and suffered through the blurry mess that was kind of the performance mode. Like, you did have a quality mode, you know, that was the thing that was present. But I think most people kind of want to have a level of performance. And the more and more I see Pisser in action, and the more and more I see, you know, the PS5 Pro with these kind of upgrades, the more games that experience this improvement, the better, because this is great looking. That's an incredible kick you got there, gal. I love your outfit. It's stylish and aesthetically pleasing. Time to kill the flying bird. Oh, I definitely did not block that very well. So anyways, this game follows the team, you know, Cloud and the squad, as they venture out into, I guess you would say, the open world. The start of the game is a bit of a frame setup to introduce you to kind of the characters and fill in a little bit of the backstory. And then when the full kind of adventure really kicks off, that's when you're out doing things, and there's lots of different mini games and adventures and things to be had. As I said, this game is ridiculously expansive. Like, I wish I had the kind of time it takes to actually really work through this kind of thing, because it is monumentally a daunting task. As I'm sure any Final Fantasy player that has experienced this would say, they did an amazing job in terms of scale in taking that concept of the original Final Fantasy VII, this piece of it, and just making it massive. It is a little bit of a shame that they're not doing any sort of expansion kind of content for this like they did with the first Final Fantasy VII part, but I do think it is better, because this game is full enough. I do think it is better that they do work on getting that third one kind of out the door, as to say, instead of making us wait, because it's going to be, you know, a while. I'm sure they're actually actively probably working on it right now, but hopefully it doesn't take forever to get that done, so that Final Fantasy VII Remake is finally fully realized, right? Like, they've done a great job here across these games. Bring it back. A beloved classic. In a way that feels fresh and exciting. And true to the characters and the world and the lore.
Thank you.
And that's genuinely exciting, as I'm sure most will feel that that is the case. Overly confident there, eh, Cloud? Any other ability things? Triple slash... So you gotta use all these cool abilities. I love the particle effects and the flashiness of the combat. Really, really quite exciting. I feel like I'm kind of dying, though. Do I have any mega potions? Yeah. There we go. Don't want to die in the kind of opening stages of combat here, you know what I'm saying? But I think you genuinely can have a great time with this, and it's interesting what they've achieved thus far. It's just like, holy, the wait has been long on this. I don't know if you've been around kind of in the gaming sphere since they first announced this game, but like, well, not this game, but the first part of this, seeing this, I think really near the start of the PlayStation 4, and then it coming out at the tail end, and then getting like a bumped up version. And then the second part finally. Well, the second part kind of a little quicker almost, right? All things considered. And then hopefully I won't be too old by the time the third one comes out. Which is kind of hilarious.
Cool. See you at the reactor.
These two get along so well. No thanks, I don't need the tutorial stuff. I'm just so impressed by the clarity of this thing. Like, you can actually see the details of the rocks. And then you can see all the details of the creature things that you're fighting. These are some ugly looking bugs. If only this had kind of launched with the PS5 Pro, I think that would have been a bigger selling point for those that were, you know, trying to experience this game, right? Oh my. Yeah, I kind of let my health go down a bit there. Which isn't ideal. Do you feel staggered and pressured? And in the character, you can actually see Cloud's hair. Like, a lot of people just, you know, when they're looking at the PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced stuff, they're like, oh, it's the same and stuff. But, like, you can actually see the details of the environment. This is how the games actually should look. I firmly believe that the cure... No, I don't want to use the cure. I firmly believe that the PS5 will be kind of remembered as a console with really fuzzy, blurry visuals, just in the long term, because of the AI scaling solutions that we had available. Still insufficient ATV, eh? And then Pisser kind of being that nice bridge towards what we'll eventually get with the PlayStation 6 down the road, which I'm sure will be a big bump up in terms of, you know, power and everything behind the scenes there. Just sort of more power overhead than that, and games will be looking a lot better, and hopefully able to use better resolution scalers at the time too, because this is just sort of Pisser's initial kind of implementation, right? I'm sure it's going to change a lot as things improve. Nice. And for now, though, this is way better. I wish most games could have gotten this visual treatment that this one's getting, especially ones that have been... The very few we've had that are current gen only. It would have been cool to see them more fully realized using this tech. Of course, a native resolution is always better for, or dynamic resolution that is native is always better for long term. But I think Pisser's a really, really impressive upscaling technology that just absolutely delivers what we need it to deliver. Like, look how clean, like, you can see all the details of everything, and like, you can't tell me that there's not a massive difference here between the base PlayStation 5 and what we're getting here with the Pro. Like, this really is just monstrously improved. Oh, I kind of wanted that. I didn't want to jump over it. No, I want to collect that. I'm getting a little awkward. I'm trying to grab this. There we go. Nice.
Hey, not that way.
But I want to go this way, Tifa.
It's a dead end. Rockslide took out the bridge a while ago. Come on back, okay?
Okay.
Very well. Never any easy ways to get around in this game, eh? Is this a loading screen? You actually see, like, details on the skin and then the fabrics, and that should be the goal with Pisser. Better visual fidelity plus frame rate. And I've seen that so present on so many of these games.
Gotta make a detour through a Shinra facility.
To think I almost made you our guide. Good thing I reconsidered. Otherwise, you'd have led us straight off a cliff.
Huh. Funny.
Yes.
Isn't that kind of literally why we like brought her along too, is so that she could actually guide us to where we're going? This game is so like incredibly detailed and realistic looking. I know it's still got that like Final Fantasy flair to it, but wow. Bravo on this effort. I can't wait to see what the third one looks like. Are we even gonna get that this generation? I'm assuming it would play on the Pro, but I'm like kind of wondering if it's gonna be more of like a PS6 like launch title at this point. I'm gonna have to get it out the door faster, but kind of almost is what that feels like. Uh-oh. Good thing you have that sword that acts as a shield, because it's so ridiculously large. Finish it off. And I love all the sparkly particle effects and the damage too, and they're also clear and clean, and you can see them all. Feel free to step in anytime, teammates. Or just sit back and watch me do all the work. It's alright. I mean, it would probably go a lot faster if we all worked together on this, but, you know.
Let's finish this. Gotta say, that one felt pretty good.
I don't know, I almost died. So, I don't know how good that could have felt if I was literally to the point of death. But alright.
The reactor may have been around for a while, but there are still pockets of Mako gas all over the mountain. Try not to breathe it in if you can.
Don't want to get Mako poisoning.
Mako gas levels reduced by 20%.
Look at the detail of all the little fine particles in the air.
Mako gas levels reduced by 70%.
We're basically vacuuming.
No Mako gas detected. Elevator access granted.
Love how the squad's kind of all around you too. This really is an amazing, like, visual showcase. Great game to have on the platform, what can I say? Especially since it is a remake of one of the most beloved games of all time. Definitely wouldn't want to miss out on that.
Come on.
Just thinking about crossing that thing.
Then let
Yeah, I
me
mean, what's the worst that could happen, right?
I'm
It's not like this
here.
bridge is gonna go out or anything. Right? The big thing I noticed too is just like hair clarity. Unbelievable. So good looking.